live. Why is this not live? I should be live on YouTube. Let's try it again.
Hello.
No.
Welcome to the Hug Nation.
Doesn't seem to be.
My name's Halcyon.
Let's try this again.
I've been doing this for a very long time. There's a
Oh,
whole
I'm
bunch-
so sick of that. That intro. Let's see. How else can I test this? Channel content, live streaming, not set up. Manage the broadcast, doesn't seem to be going. YouTube has been, oh, there we go. Now we're live. Okay, all right. Let's mute this. Frustrating, I guess. Hi, Brandy. Okay. And let's do one more. Let's do that. Let's do that. Go back to here. Oops. And go to... Oh, come on. No, don't do that.
Hi, Brandy. Okay.
So strange. All right. There we go. That did it, I think. Good morning, Brandy and Al. Good morning. Good morning, everyone who is tuning into this live on Sunday morning. I am John. It is Sunday morning. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we're having presence practice. What has been Love Morning for 2 years every day, 9 a.m., noon Pacific, and is an opportunity to step into our path of being love ambassadors, which you have had that title your whole life. You just may have not been practicing enthusiastically, but I'm inviting you to do so. You have all the qualifications, and I'll get into that a little bit because I got into a conversation yesterday that was all about purpose versus meaning, and I want to get into that in a little bit. But first, I will say welcome, and let's share some gratitude. What are you grateful for? You can also let me know where you are physically. It's so nice to reflect on people around the world. Our gratitude circles, which are at noon and 6 p.m. Pacific, you're always welcome, and 3 in the morning. I invite you to join me, and they're every day. And yes, last few days there's been some big crowds. Big crowd, I mean 16 people, which is so cool when you just tune in the middle of the day and there's people from Barcelona and England and Amsterdam and New Mexico and East Coast and West Coast. Really a cool feeling. So I am in San Diego, California, where it is quite overcast this morning, which I like because I think I have a little bit of sunburn. I've been getting outside a lot, exercising more, and I think my skin has taken a beating. So I'm going to appreciate some overcast and try to keep myself from getting that worse. But I'm grateful that my skin is able to handle the UV rays. I'm grateful that the sun is such a perfect distance from our planet to keep us warm and not burn us up. In the Michael Singer podcast, he was kind of complaining about weather and heat. He goes, "It's too hot. Oh, it's too hot. Are you serious? Do you know how hot the sun is? Do you know how much hotter it is any closer to the sun? We are in the perfect place. Too hot." Wow, Bob is on his way to Africa Burn. Sending us hello from 35,000 feet. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. Sweet. We have a literal node in our Hug Nation web, our network, that is traveling globally as we speak. That is awesome. Bob is grateful to be making this trip again. I hope you have fun. Someday, I would like to go to Africa Burn. The topic of next week's Stay Sparked podcast, which I hope you're listening to, I'm quite proud of it. It'll be our 20th episode next week, and our topic is going to be to burn or not to burn. I did a post about whether or not I was going to go to Burning Man this year, and in a day, it got 500 comments, which is a lot for me. And clearly a lot of thoughts about a lot of people thinking about if they want to return to the burn or not. Al is grateful for how calm and quiet it is here currently on the outskirts of the Peak District versus his usual location in London. Brandy's enjoying a beautiful spring morning in Connecticut. Today it looks like the day where it all just bursts out into full colorful greenery. Nice. Asher and Amy are enjoying Connecticut and getting to see their pictures as they are enjoying the weather in the springtime. And I got to enjoy it recently. Brandy's saying, I love springtime enough to have named my daughter Anastasia because it means springtime. I did not know that. I'm grateful for the weather we're having this week. 90 degrees plus. Oh my gosh. That's too hot. No, I don't want it to be hot. So I want more spring. Okay, that's not gratitude. There I was falling into that same it's too hot that I was just mocking. Michael Singer says, anytime you have a preference, anytime you want one thing over another in the external world, it is evidence that there's something wrong with you inside that you need to work on. A truly evolved person appreciates all things. Sonaya, good morning. Good morning to you. Welcome to Presence Practice. Good morning, Kiri. Kiri is so grateful for her amazing friend Braden, who just bought her a really exciting gift. Proud owner of a synthesizer now, so I can make all the pretty sounds I can imagine. How cool! Wow, look at you manifesting your studio. Cool, Kiri, good job. Beautiful. And thank you, Braden, being an agent of magic. Hi, Janet. Good morning. Good morning to you. Happy Sunday. And hi, Izzy. Izzy is grateful to be taking the train back to Barcelona. Awesome. So we got Barcelona. We got England. We've got Bob is in the air on his way to Africa. I'm in San Diego, California. We got Connecticut. Brandy is grateful that the heat is going to break and you can go back to normal temperatures. Whew. Faith is here. Good morning. Thankful to be here. Acknowledging not truly evolved because I prefer to be here than anywhere else. Wait. No, I think that's, I guess that could be evolved or it could be non-evolved. Thankful my son got his first job yesterday. And I think that, from that definition, nobody is an evolved being because, we all have elements of pleasure that we prefer over pain. We all have tastes that we prefer, flavors that we prefer. But the acknowledgement of what we prefer can be a helpful tool in recognizing, our journey and our spirituality. I am grateful for my body. Grateful that I'm slowly getting in better shape, I feel. Been doing a little 1.5 mile jog each morning and then a cold shower. That's been feeling good, starting the day with a nice morning practice, including meditation. I am grateful for friends and connection. Had a nice long socializing day with a friend yesterday with a bike ride, and then they had not watched Ted Lasso. So we watched the first half of the first season of Ted Lasso. We're evolving, not evolved, says Brandy. Yeah, I think that's a good place to fall into, that we are here to grow and evolve and learn. We're here to evolve our spirits and our souls. I think that whether or not, whatever wording or that uses or repels us, I think that is the way that makes sense for me to make sense of this journey in our consciousness in a human life. I had a really beautiful, resonating metaphor that Michael Singer made in his podcast. And I know I'm quoting him a lot because I've just really been getting a lot out of him lately. He says that, if you have an injury, like you might injure your hand during physical therapy, they might give you a type of therapy, like they'll say, hey, work with clay to strengthen your hands. So, okay, make ashtrays over and over. Make these ashtrays. Try to make it exactly like this over and over. Keep making these ashtrays. And then, after a couple of weeks, the doctor will come in, and when he goes to look at your progress, he's not going to look at the ashtrays. He's going to see how strong your hands got. And his point is, life, what happens in the external world, the activities, the relationships, the struggles that we have, those are the ashtrays. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, how do we evolve? How do we grow? How do we get stronger in our spirit? How do we remove the obstacles to our connection to source and peace? I really like that idea. My phone is ringing? How could you tell? Wow, that's scary. And my brother did call. Huh. Bill, good morning. Bill had a tough weekend. I think I've picked that up from some of your posts. Taking some punches, need some love. Well, bravo for making it another day. And I appreciate your continued efforts, Bill. You certainly should give yourself credit for your continued efforts to just keep on and keep on and keep on. And like you're making ashtrays, you're getting stronger. Hello, Farmer Jason. I actually just shaved my beard last night, so I was much more silver fox yesterday. But yes, I'm still pretty damn silver. Saying that I'm the same person I were 5. You manifest it based on how you are attuned at a given time. That's an interesting take. Hello, Natasha in the Pacific Northwest with some April showers. I wonder if we'll get some rain today. It looks pretty overcast. Natasha is grateful was able to host a successful sleepover for 2 little wildlings and for my 3 new houseplants that are bringing me so much joy. Yeah. Oh, I see. It was vibrating. That's interesting. Okay, I guess so. The mic picked up the vibrating. Thanks for letting me know, Kiri. Brandy saying, I love you truly, like a soul love kind of thing, beyond this basic plane. Everyone here, actually. I was in that's part of this, conversation of purpose and meaning and making ashtrays. It really only makes sense if you have a belief that, that life is beyond this dimension. To me, that's what makes it make sense. If you think this is all there is, it gets tough to find much meaning beyond what we attach to it. And actually, that's what humans do. We create meaning out of things. Knowing that, you got to be show caution, because as we create our own meaning, you can create meaning that makes life beautiful and blissful, or you can create meaning that makes it horrible and torturous. The huge plant behind me is a Z plant that I've had for a long time. So this is, the normal ones you get at the store are kind of like this. This is your basic Z plant. And that one has just been monstrous for years, many years. That's taken over the room. Good morning, Mingle. So I wanted to give just a brief touching on this idea that came up in a conversation yesterday. Because when I talk here, I talk about being a love ambassador and that all you need to do to have purpose in your life is to look for opportunities to connect, to practice kindness, to look for things to be grateful for, to practice presence, authenticity, and support one another in our growth. That's it. You don't have to achieve anything. You just have to practice those things in teeny tiny gestures in that direction. Nothing grand. And as I used the term purpose, my friend was kind of like, I don't like that word. I'm like, what? They said, like, your purpose in life, your life purpose, it feels like we got to do something. It feels active. It feels like masculine. Like you got to go do. And they pointed out that often the idea of finding your purpose is used in marketing materials to try to hook into your emotions and get you to sign up for programs. And like, you don't know your purpose, you need to find your purpose, And I was like, okay, yeah. And I think that's actually what I'm describing of saying, I hear you. We have so much pressure to find our purpose, but guess what? You don't need to go find your purpose. You just need to act and be in a way that is in line with you as a good person. Connection, kindness, gratitude, presence, authenticity, growth. And just if you are working on doing that, no matter what you do, it will be done as a love ambassador. It'll be done as living a life of purpose. Or you don't have to do anything. If you are just doing that and being in that space, then whatever resonance you have, whatever ripples you put in the world will be from that place. And that is enough. But they suggested using the word meaning. And I like that. So I am pondering that. I'm just wondering if you have thoughts of, do you think the idea of pursuing purpose is a little bit too like productivity driven? Is it too much of our, go get your purpose, go drive purpose? And meaning is something that you can find in stillness. I need do nothing. I merely need to be. I need do nothing to deserve grace, to deserve love. I need do nothing. It's a line in A Course in Miracles, which I really like. And I think you need do nothing to lead a life of purpose. You need to be in alignment with your truth. And these guidelines that I am practicing and encouraging us to practice of connection and kindness and gratitude, and presence, authenticity and growth, these are I think the pillars of being a conscious human in alignment with a divine path. I don't know what it looks like. That's in a whole nother conversation in a whole nother realm. But if we are being that is our meaning. That is our purpose. At least that's what makes sense to me in this moment right now. And all of it really, and I haven't even used the word in any of that description, it's all about love. Those are the ways I think that we get into alignment with love. And so if we are being love, we are leading a life of purpose. If we are being love, then life has meaning. That is the meaning, to align ourselves with love. And this practice is as holy, as sacred, as meaningful, and has as much purpose as anything else. So we don't need to go do anything to matter, to have purpose, to have meaning. We simply need to practice being these people and finding community that can help us, that can strengthen us, that can support us, and that we can support. It is not a path that's done in isolation. Humaning is a team sport. And I am so honored and proud to be on your team. And I'm so privileged that you're on my team too. Go us! See if I can see your comments now. Sorry, I got a little on a little roll there. Lori B says, yes, purpose makes me feel guilty for not having a drive in my life. All right, that makes sense. Natasha says, I like meaning. I want to make sure what I'm doing is meaningful so that I can feel the joy. Nice. Curious saying, purpose can be in stillness. Purpose is intentional. Curious saying, purpose is not an active word to me. It's like a reason. All right. Mingle is grateful to be in LA with girlfriends for lunch and fellow burners, and then getting to meet Aaron. Awesome. Good morning, Lorian. Happy day to you. Well, that felt good to express. Thanks, everyone. If you missed me ranting or talking about Stay Sparked is, we are recording our 20th episode tomorrow, and it's going to be about to burn or not to burn. I made a little post about when people ask me if I'm going to Burning Man this year, and it's gotten a lot of response. So clearly it's something on people's minds. A lot of people deciding I'm not going back. Last year was too hard. Someone just pointed me out to a really interesting article in Wired that came out earlier this month that addressed the future of Burning Man, with regards to climate change and the carbon footprint, as well as just like the reality of it. Like when I first started going to Burning Man, it was very decadent to have a motorhome, and we've almost got to the place where it's almost dangerous to go without access to a motorhome. I don't mean that say you have to bring a motorhome, but you need to have somebody that that has AC, so that if you get overheated and if you get to a point where like, oh crap, I haven't slept for 2 days, it's 105 degrees outside and it's 115 in my tent, like I need to sleep. But if you have a friend that can let you sleep in their AC, it's almost critical now. That's a very different experience. Like I used to say, if it's your first time, definitely go in a tent. You got to go in a tent. And now I'm like, I'm certainly not going in a tent. My decision to go could very well depend on if I can find access to a dependable motorhome. Kiri's saying that her camp has an air-conditioned hippopotobus. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I think a camp needs to really think about and consider. Maybe we will talk about that as a camp. Lorian saying that she likes my glasses. Thank you. I've been feeling like it. When I look in the mirror and I decide, does that look like me? And if it doesn't, then I change the look, whether I dye it or cut it or shave and I've been lately with the gray hair. I've really been feeling like the white glasses makes me feel like, okay, that's my look right now. Yes, that is me. The hippopotamus, also called the champagne room. That's where you get lap dances. Natasha said our rental truck did not have AC in the back. Oh, right. When we stayed in the back of a rental truck, right? That's very true. But I mean, if we were in that rental truck in 2022, it would have been impossible. There's no way. I mean, it was inside the Hugmobile this year. I had a temperature thing, whatever, thermometer, whatever. And in the back little section that I had sectioned off with AC pumping in it, during the middle of the day, I could get the temperature down to like 95 degrees, 92 degrees. In the front of my RV where there was no AC, it was 117 because it was just baking, the metal baking in the sun, and a metal truck would have been unbearable. Yeah, I'm not talking myself into the burn right now. All right, so it's time for me to figure out how much money I can raise so I can rent an expensive, nice RV. Or see if I can find someone who has a nice RV that wants to go to Burning Man, but they're scared, and they say, "Oh, I would go if you would go with me." And I go, "Well, how nice is your motorhome?" Lorian saying, "I like all the yous I've had the privilege to meet. Someday I hope I can meet you in person too." Thank you, Lorian. I hope so too. And I like all the yous, all the me's as well. I had a wonderful post by a woman that I dated in 1998, I think. And we've been in touch, and she's, an amazing, wise woman now. And she was saying, look, we don't change that much. You're still the creative, loving person that I was intimate with, almost 25 years ago. And that was kind of a cool thing to realize. Yeah, I mean, I have grown and evolved, but I'm also not that different. My core has not changed dramatically. Not saying that you can't change your core dramatically, but I am versions of me. I am not totally independent, unique expressions. But if anyone is curious about, like, the Michael Singer podcast has really been helping me understand, like, why am I on this path right now? The one I was listening to today, boy, it really goes into the condition. The human condition is one of discomfort. He says, you come into this world crying, and then you spend the rest of your life crying in some way or another. And you're trying to find things that make you happy. What can make me happy? What can make me happy? I want this out in the extra world. This can make me happy. And luckily, I have found all sorts of ways to make myself happy that happen to be doing good in the world. And helping people and doing hugs and love and connection and trying to spread ideas that have helped me. But it takes a constant flood of externally doing good to feel good. If I'm alone with myself, it starts to slip a little. And I feel an emptiness and an uncomfortableness that I'm barely even aware of, because I have the subconscious pattern of, like, trying to do more things that make good. Like, oh, don't feel so good, let's call somebody. Oh, don't feel so good, let's watch something. Don't feel so good, let's listen to something. Don't feel so good. But it just feels that's what life is. We don't even realize that's what life is. What Singer is saying is that the spiritual path, as Buddhists would talk about, becoming free from desires or free from these preferences, working on the self enough so that you can be in joy. You can get to a place where you're like, wow, I am alive today on this incredible planet. What is going on today? Oh, I'm overheated today. Look at this experience. Fascinating, incredible. Whoa, well, look at this. What's going to happen today? Instead of constantly going, what can I change to make myself happy? What can I do to make myself feel better? What can I eat to make myself feel better? What can I do to make myself feel better? What can I do to make myself feel better? That I need to be productive. I need to do. No. I am saying these ideas as aspirations, as things that I feel like I am heading towards, not as things that I have achieved. Bye, Sonaya. Glad that you got to spend some moments with us today. Gabriella saying, I'm taking a year off from the big burn to recalibrate. Could be a really viable option. Yeah, a lot of people that posted in the thread were like, yeah, I'm taking the year off, or that last year crushed me. You know, last year was the first time I ever said, I don't think I can do this again. Every time I was asked, you know, for 24 years, when people said, you know, are you going this year? I assume you're going this year. I'm like, of course, yes, of course. I mean, I used to tell people that I cannot visualize farther in the future than the next Burning Man, which is still kind of true. But my whole concept of reality, life, was Burning Man based. I used to say that if you asked me to tell you who I am, I couldn't do it without talking about Burning Man. My spirituality, my identity, my social circles, my art, my professional world, all of it is influenced by Burning Man. And for the first time, I'm like, maybe not. That's fucking scary. Or maybe it's exciting. How many people are here before I say something that's like super intense? Okay, I'll say, hello to you who are still here and listening. So I have had thoughts over the recent years where I was marveling at my life. Like, wow, I am so blessed. I have done so much in my life. I've done so much more than I ever thought I would. Like, this life that I have lived with discovering Burning Man and the internet and being able to have like a degree of connecting with so many people. I mean, without being like, oh, I'm so great, I've been able to have a positive impact on a lot of people. You know, the idea of like, if I could just make a difference in one person's life, I know I have. That is incredible. Like, how did I get so fucking lucky? But where do I go from there? And there have been times over the last few years when I've said, I don't know what I need to do in this life anymore. And even like, I'm not suicidal, but I don't know how hard I would fight to live. And even a part of my back of my mind that would have been like, you know, if I had to be done with this life now, I might be okay with that. I mean, I'm not going to make that choice. I don't want to intentionally put my parents through that. But I certainly have thoughts of like, I just need to outlive my parents. As long as I outlive my parents, then I'm good. And so this chapter that I'm in now is partially realizing, just had a little pre-emotion flood kick in, is like, okay, so what if I try to lead another life? What if I risk losing all that I have figured out, all that I have acquired in terms of this identity? Because I haven't really acquired. I've got quite a wardrobe actually, and a pink hair dye collection that would make you weep. And my Burning Man supply bins are, anyways. But my point is, what if I tried to lead a different life? What if I tried to pursue this stuff that Michael Singer is talking about, that, you know, Buddhist scholars are talking about, that, you know, so many gurus talk about, that Christ talks about, this idea of finding a place of of inner bliss? What if I stop trying to do the things that I know make me feel joy, things that I know make me feel like I'm living a life of purpose? What if I stop trying to do those things and focus my energy on trying to be something, someone that is in bliss, that is joyful, that is in awe at everything, that isn't afraid of discomfort, that isn't afraid of embarrassment or failure. And for me to really take those risks, to let go of the things that have given me comfort and given me those external things that have given me made me feel good, for me to let go of those things is requiring a massive surrendering, and even thinking about it like it is a new life, saying like, look, you were ready to die. You were okay with dying. So from that place, let's try this. So that when people say like, why you don't need to change, like, well, I don't need to, but I have lived that life very well, and maybe there is another life for me to live. Maybe it's the exact same life, but just a little bit different. Maybe it's the exact same actions, but my insides are more complete. Maybe I do the exact same things, except instead of doing it because I need to know that and feel that I am helping and that I am loved, I do it out of a pure expression of authentic truth. I just can't help it. Which I do feel that way. I think I feel that way most of the time. And yet, there are these aspects of myself that I have this, humanity ache that I'm still working on. And that's my motivation. That's why I'm so dedicated to this path in this moment. And I'm trying to stay in that awareness, however morbid that might sound, so that I can stay committed. And so that when I wake up before the alarm and jog and stretch and cold shower and meditate and write, so I go to bed early so I don't get tempted to have a good time or party. So I try to remember the lessons that I'm learning about somatic regulation, and it is the simplest thing in the world, and it is maybe the hardest thing I've ever done. And at this point, it still makes sense for me to share the journey. It gives me strength. I feel support. I feel like this is my community that is helping me in this growth. But I'm also very aware that it is a dangerous balance, because ultimately, I need to be able to have this strength on my own. So if you don't see me for a few days or weeks or months or years, hopefully that's evidence of a good thing. I love you. And I love me too. I do love me. Just trying to maximize that awareness as much as possible. Natasha saying, you could do that without losing everything you have already been. Your past experience are tools in your tool belt. Exactly. Yes. I love you too. Thank you. Dax is saying, this is a fascinating talk, reminding me of a few important spiritual aspects I'd forgotten. Sweet. Dax said, me starting to talk about death, his knee-jerk response was to try to talk me out of it. You're reminding me that deep down, people know what they're ready for. And Lori's saying, you're giving us suggestions of personal growth tools for ourselves. And Dax, I am not afraid of dying. I have my spiritual beliefs are such that it's not something I'm afraid of. However, and also I think that putting blinders on to the reality of birth and death and recognizing that we have this experience between birth and death is the classroom that I'm talking about. So death is a part of that conversation. I don't think I'm not hungering for death. I'm not desiring death, but I am acknowledging that, that is part of the conversation. I have a lot of videos about suicide actually on my YouTube channel where I address that suicide is a viable option. It's, Alan Watts says that it's really one of the most fundamental spiritual questions we can ask ourselves. Is the game worth the candle? Is it worth it to go on? And there are times when I think it's okay to have that conversation. And in fact, my experience has been that there have been a number of suicidal people who have watched my videos and felt able to talk themselves off the ledge because they heard me speaking about death and suicide from a place of healthy inquiry, I guess, as opposed to panic and knee-jerk reaction. So I really appreciate you recognizing that. I actually had somebody, I in some of my videos, I've talked about having an exit interview, that if you are deciding that you want to take your life and end your life, that I would be happy to have an exit interview with you and talk about, so that you can articulate why you've made that choice. And my general reason for doing that is I'm not going to talk someone out of it, but I think it is a healthy exercise to articulate, because in the process of articulating it, it is possible to maybe recognize the aspect of it being a permanent solution to a temporary problem or something like that. Now, I was recently contacted by somebody who, I don't know if this get me in any legal trouble. Like, they said they were 3 months into their 6-month plan, 3 months to go before they decided to exit, and they were very at peace with it. Their therapist understood. After 3 months, they were still very happy with their decision, and I was like, okay. This conversation went in a different direction. But my point is, I got no plans, and I have no plans to end this life. And in fact, if I look at the calendar, it looks like I've got potentially decades more of living. And if that's the case, I need some projects to work on. And what better project than my spirit? What better thing to do than to make ashtrays and try to get stronger? If you missed that metaphor earlier, then that would make no sense. And I'm thinking of maybe doing, speaking of this the feedback that I'm hearing now and what I've been feeling, I'm thinking of maybe doing a kind of study group or group class course where I pull out the resources that have been super helpful for me recently, and we watch and read them and study them together, and then I kind of do my interpretations of how it's been working. And but for some reason I have not been too motivated to complete that plan, so we'll see. I'm not going to overcommit. Dax, you are not a downer at all. This is authenticity practice here. The old love morning, we were gratitude focused specifically. The new presence practice is about growth, and it doesn't have to be positive and uplifting, and it has to be authentic. So thank you for speaking truth. And with that, I think we should have a hug and head off into our beautiful Sundays. What do you think? Let's do that. So wherever you are, give yourself a squeeze and appreciate this body. Feel yourself being held by me, and feel yourself holding. Wait, you're holding me, I'm holding you. We're holding all the people who are here, the people that are on YouTube and on Facebook, all of us connecting in this space beyond the physical, recognizing that we are all so much more alike than we are different, all having this human experience in different ways. We feel so unique and yet so similar. The details are different. The context is different. The pulls and the emotions and the confusion and the joys and the triumphs and the struggles, it's all parallel. So let's just acknowledge that, acknowledge our shared experience of humanity as we take a deep breath in and squeeze one another. And release. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all of you, thanks for being here for this presence practice for Hug Nation. I love you. If you're feeling connected to this, tell a friend to subscribe to my YouTube channel, or pass on my link to somebody, or share a video of mine, or share my link, or share something. It would be wonderful to invite more like-minded, open-hearted people to this practice. I feel like there is a power to community. Yay, and Amy was here. Good morning, Amy, or good noon to you, Amy. See, that's why you got to travel the world. You get a context understandings. I will forever know now that when I say love morning, that there are people out there that are having a love noon. So happy love noon to you. And happy Sunday, everyone. I love you. Say hi to Asher for me. Love you, Asher. Yay, Natasha, I've seen your name pop up in the, Printful sends me a little note when someone buys a shirt, and I've seen you buy a couple. Yay, that's so cool. Thank you. This is by the way, this is the Grandpa Caleb It's a Beautiful Glass hoodie that you can hug people and say, love more, fear less, float more, steer less on it, in the arms. And the back says it's a beautiful glass. Everything is available. You can get all my links at johnstyn.com, JOHNSTYN. Mwah! Oops.